The Colombian embassy in Washington has launched an $800,000 public relations campaign to transform American public opinion toward the South American country.
They'd like to say that everything is okay in Colombia, everything is fine, and so you should pass this free trade agreement. Everything is not fine in Colombia.
Down, down, FTA, fair trade's a better way.
However, advocacy groups have a different message and have launched a major counteroffensive to raise awareness about the Colombian government's human rights violations in connection with the U.S.-Colombia Free Trade Agreement.
Well, there's opposition for a number of reasons. First of all, that the Colombia FTA expands some of NAFTA's most harmful provisions that gives corporations special rights to challenge domestic, environmental, public health, and consumer and labor laws, as well as Colombia's just horrible human rights record.
The demonstration was strategically set up outside Union Station, barely a mile from Capitol Hill, to catch members of Congress and congressional staffers on their way home from work. Organizers want the message to be clear. The U.S.-Colombia Free Trade Agreement is economically and physically harming the Colombian people.
Right now we had a lot of people like Afro-Colombian displaced and killed from their own land. So if the free trade agreement is become an agreement between Colombia and the United States, that will be more difficult for the Afro-Colombian community, indigenous community to live.
The protesters at this event say the NAFTA agreement proved to be a failure and contributed to the countless deaths of the indigenous people of South and Central America. The protesters also note the U.S.-Colombia Free Trade Agreement will produce the same results.
Last year we saw more unionists murdered in Colombia than the rest of the world combined. The rate of displacement, which I already mentioned, second worst in the world, has been increasing. The military has been recently found to engage in a practice of killing innocent civilians. This is the same military that's received $7 billion of taxpayer money from the U.S. at this point.
Aside from voicing their concerns about the FTA, the protesters also denounced the possibility of a U.S. military base in Colombia.
It's concerning for us as U.S. Individuals who know the long history of U.S. intervention in Latin America. Obama promised something different.
Colombia is the biggest client of the School of the Americas. The SOA has trained over 10,000 Colombian soldiers, and the results are chilling. Colombia's army has the worst human rights record in the Western Hemisphere. Millions have disappeared, thousands of unionists killed, and we see a direct connection between the collaboration between the military and the paramilitaries.
The No More Broken Hearts campaign will continue to protest against the PR objectives of the Colombian embassy in Washington. Organizers say the Urrutia administration in Colombia is guilty of crimes against humanity and should not receive a rubber stamp of approval from the United States, even if it means corporate benefits in a free trade agreement. Jahan Hafiz, AP-TVS, Washington.